I think because I was at the end of my career, I had come to accept the level of doubt and fear and uncertainty of not knowing what was going to happen. I'd learnt to let go of the actual result that I wanted because I couldn't operate at a high level while I held that. So I almost had to let it go to be able to perform at the level I needed to. And I think that took a really long time for me to learn that and be able to apply it under pressure. Because I learnt the hard way in Sydney that I couldn't hold it too tight. I had to let go. And so the theme of the race was all about trust.
Welcome to the Greg Bennett Show. I'm your host, Greg Bennett, and well, this is a very special episode. It's my first time doing the video, so that was actually really cool. But more importantly, with a very special guest that I had on the show. I did the same thing 3 years ago when they joined me right before the Tokyo Olympics. This time, we're right before the Paris Olympic Games, and I have Simon Whitfield, the 2000 Olympic champion, Hamish Carter, the 2004, Jan Frodeno, the 2008, and Alistair Brownlee, the 2012 and 2016 Olympic champion, on to discuss everything around the Olympics, their Olympic experiences, how the Olympic medal impacted them, both good and bad. And they give some sound advice to many of the young Olympians that might be getting themselves ready right now. Christian Blumenfeld, we did miss. He was racing in Italy in the next 36 hours. So we missed him, and he is defending his Olympic title. And we even posed a question, would you come on the show if you knew you had the Olympics coming up in 6 weeks' time? And we all said no. So big shout out to Christian, though, wishing you all the very best. We actually predict who's going to win the men's, women's, and the team Olympic gold medal triathlons. But just an absolutely great episode. What I love about this is these guys aren't just the best at what they did. They're actually some of the most intelligent and well thought out people you could ever meet. So a big shout out to each of them. It was trying to get everybody together is never easy on all four corners around the world, but we made it happen. And this was a very special episode for me. These guys are my friends, my mates, and they made it happen. So a big shout out to all of them. I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I did. And remember, success comes to those who endure just one moment longer. All right, here we are. I'm going to cut Simon Whitfield off right now. This episode, what an amazing group to get together from all corners of the world. Literally, to make this work has been almost impossible, but we've made it happen. Today, we have four legends of the world of triathlon, all of them Olympic gold medalists, and beyond that, they've done so much more for the sport. And for me personally, just four really good men that I think are leading the way for the sport of triathlon, but sport as a whole. First up, Simon Whitfield, our inaugural Olympic champion from 2000, and also with a silver medal behind Jan Frodeno in 2008, Commonwealth Games gold medalist, and plus he won Minneapolis and Hy-Vee and all the big money races as well. Truly one of the all-time greats through the sport. Next up, Hamish Carter, who also is one of the greatest to ever do the sport, winning the 2004 Olympic gold. He won the 98 World Series, and a bunch of medals across all the World Cup distances, and truly one of the legends of the sport as well. Jan Frodeno, recently retired and sitting here in his linen shirt. Where are you, Lake Como? Looking very leisurely, a man of leisure these days. 2008 gold medalist, and then went on to dominate the Ironman world, 3-time Ironman world champion, 2-time 70.3 world champion, and a host of victories all around the world. Truly one of the all-time greats. And finally, Alistair Brownlee, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, Commonwealth Games gold medalist, and a whole plethora of world titles, who really reshaped. Well, he kicked me out of Olympic distance racing, that's for sure, because the guy turned it up a whole nother notch, and is still racing and is still crushing it in the middle distance, has us all cheering for him. But guys, wow, thanks for all joining again on this show. 2 months out from the Olympic Games. Last time we did this was 2 months out from the last Olympic Games in Tokyo. And here we are all again. Man, we made it happen. How is everyone? Don't all jump in at once. We were all crazy. We were all crazy before we started.
Yeah, because you're recording.
I'm just trying to work out who's aging the best. Who do you reckon is aging the best? That's the most important question.
Well, I actually thought we should have a weigh-in, Greg, and see what weight you raced at to what you are now. No one looks like they've let themselves go, which is a real shame.
I think I was hoping we'd have a little bit. Simon got a little plump there for a while, but he's back. Yeah. He's doing all right. Yeah.
Simon looks like he could do with a shave. He's like, let his face go a bit.
Yeah.
Do you know how long this took me to grow?
Yeah.
I mean, this is 6 months. I ain't doing that for you guys. You're four of my favorite people, but I ain't taking this off because it took too long to grow.
Well, we lost Jan Frodeno, but I think he's going to come back anytime soon. But why don't we do this? Why don't we quickly go around the room? Simon, we'll start with you. What are you up to these days, mate? I'd like to know what's going on.
How do you answer that? I'm at home right now. My day's focused around all the things that keep me up late at night that I like working on, and 2 kids that I gotta get to soccer practice and volleyball and school and all those things. And in my own spare time, I'm playing soccer and badminton. I'm loving it, and I want to see if I can fight Hamish in jiu-jitsu. And other than that, just I don't know. Here I am.
Well, you're working at the feed too, right? Or you're consulting with them, aren't you? Didn't you build the whole amazing team there?
I'm part of that. I'm really enjoying the work stuff. We're working on fun stuff. Alistair and I get to chat now many times a week, and that's such a highlight for me right now because we're working together on a bunch of stuff. Really enjoying it. It comes with all the stuff, all the ups and downs and all the I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but
fake it till you can make it.
I know. I'm just pretending like the rest of them, but in the meantime, my pretend day looks like that.
Very good. And Haim, what are you up to, mate? It's been 3 years since we caught up. What's been going on?
Yeah, I run a people and culture team or an HR function for an IT business at the moment. Been doing that for a couple of years now. Still living in Auckland, New Zealand. 2 kids, they're still great, and still married to Marissa.
Still married to her. She's still hanging around.
Yeah, still hanging around.
I don't know how she does it, buddy.
Yeah. I'm still pretty active. I guess I do a bit of foiling these days, a bit of paddling, still run a couple of times a week. I worked back in before Tokyo. I was running the high performance program for triathlon here in New Zealand for about 3 or 4 years, which was really pretty cool to help the sport out again. But for the time being, have stepped away and doing some different stuff and really enjoying it.
Good man. All right, next up, Jan, you're back. Where are you? What are you up to 6 months into retirement?
6 months, and I'm still surprisingly close to the sport, which is shown by the fact that I accidentally booked my holidays exactly in the spot of where Triathlon World Cup is meant to be happening this weekend. Literally, I was treated to Christian Blumenfeld in Speedos along the beach today, and I was like, how did I end up here? Other than that, I've moved to the mountains about as far away from anything to Andorra a couple of years ago, which has been great. Absolutely love it. It's cool, like kids, family life, and that's kind of where I'm trying to find the balance right now of retirement and being home more. But at least when I'm home, I'm at least present. I'm not totally fried anymore as I used to be, and still enjoying training outdoors and finding things to do. I'd love to try foiling, but it's not that easy in the mountains. Apparently, you can snow kite or something like that, but that sounds daunting.
I have seen that. It looks pretty gnarly, but I think it'd be good to try.
Yeah, great. You go ahead. Tell me how it was.
Yeah.
I'll meet you there. We'll go to Snow Farm and do it.
Yeah, Snow Farm.
Can we in?
And you're involved in a few businesses too, Jan. You on high demand. You're getting people reaching out, wanting you to. They know you're retired now.
Yeah, it turns out I'm traveling more than before. But yeah, it's interesting also changing from being the face of a brand to being involved in the day-to-day and talking to people and learning new elements of how these things work. When you kind of before just smile, stand here and sell this, to actually being involved is a really cool process of learning, I guess. And that's the real big change, is that the improvement is so much more vast because you're starting from so far down the line that it's actually quite satisfying. Yeah,
it's crazy, isn't it? I feel like you're drinking through a fire hose. It's like we've all been consumed by sport for so long, and then you come out into the business world like, crap, I got to catch up here. It's like, well, I didn't even understand the language they're talking. Yeah. What about you, Alistair, mate? You doing business and sport. Last time you were doing your, PhD around winning Olympic gold medals and stuff. I don't think this guy ever just does one thing, but mate, what are you up to?
I'm currently sat at home in my house in Yorkshire. I've been training quite a bit today, actually, training with Johnny. We don't do that much together anymore, so it's been nice this week to do quite a bit of training with him. Still rubbish weather. I spent 4 hours yesterday cycling around in the rain. So, yeah, still training, but not training quite as much as I used to, and definitely running a lot less than I used to. Racing at the moment in mostly middle distance, and kind of see how that goes for the rest of the year. But it's very much a balance between trying to look after the body and maximize my kind of race ability, which is a new challenge in some ways and something that I'm enjoying. I guess alongside that, I've got interest in all kind of things, actually. Everything I like to kind of define as everything that I do is removing barriers and helping people be more active in some shape or form. And that is everything from the foundation, which this week is in full flow. I was at a foundation event yesterday at my old school in Bradford, and we've got over 5,000 kids doing events with us this week, and we're running events over 4 or 5 weeks all over the UK. Hopefully get up to over 20,000 kids do events with us, to stuff through the international sports governance with the IOC Athletes Commission that keeps me busy across a bunch of IOC commissions as well, which I've really enjoyed, and I'm very much enjoying. Looking forward to being in Paris on the other side of the barriers this year and just going to watch whatever I want.
And you're starting tech companies. You're making me feel kind of a bit not very good about myself right now. I must admit. Oh, Jesus. You're always the one that's like doing so many things, buddy.
the most important thing I learn in life is find good people to do stuff for you.
Yeah. No, I get it. Mate, that's awesome. And Simon, you mentioned that you guys are chatting a bit, you and Alistair. What are you guys working on that you...
What are we working on, Alistair? We don't know yet.
Oh, is it all quiet? Yeah. No. You got something out there.
It's not quiet.
No, we kind of realised that there's a potential to, I guess, use a form of chat-based AI, language models, but building specific language models for sporting context, whether that's athletes or retailers or brands or a combination of all of those. Without going into too much detail, if you see in the news anything about language models using other people's IP data information, well, if you think what is it going to be going forward for people to be able to interact with consumers, whether that's fans or brand consumers, and owning the data for them to allow them to interact in a way with those people, and what does the next kind of social media and language models look around that. I think that's a fair. I'm trying to define it. It's quite a difficult.
No, I want to talk to you more about this. Simon, what do you want to add to that?
I think. Am I still here? Just a sec.
You were like this last time, wasn't Simon? Dropping off and on last time. Go on, buddy.
Back now?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah.
Oh, it keeps telling me. Okay. I was working on. My dad retired from DuPont as a senior research scientist after 35 years, and wrote a series of papers on everything from the electrification of the BC Ferries fleet to food waste management, mining waste management in the Chilcotin Valley. And he would send these papers to info@bcferries.com, and he'd get like a voucher for a free hamburger back from them. Say, thanks for your contribution, Dr. Whitfield. And so I said, hey, Dad, like, and he'd be livid. They're not listening to me. And I say, hey, Dad, like, that's not the approach. Let's build you a large language. Let's use a large language model to understand what you've built in these papers so that they're inquirable. It's not easy to do. You have to get the right people in place. As Alistair said, you got to meet great people. And then all of a sudden, Alistair came out with Pascal at BrownleeFitness.com, and I WhatsApped him and said, oh my goodness, you built it. You did it. I've been trying to work on this for my dad. You did it for you, and you had the courage, more importantly. Alistair, you had the courage to actually put it out there, because it's quite intimidating. You're putting out like yourself and these answers, and sometimes people will maliciously try and hack it. My dad's, it's a closed ecosystem. We just give it to a professor at Guelph, and he says, yeah, this is great. Thanks for inquiring. So when we compared notes, we realized that Alistair had hired this incredible human named Pete Pastides at Pastides. Is that it, Alistair? Pete Pastides at Podium Tech, and I called him up and said, hey, let's work together. I love what you're doing, and the rest is history. And we'll see where it all goes. It's really just an excuse to get together and spend more time together. And
you don't know what you're talking about, really.
I'm just pretending that at the end of the day, I'm trying to bait these guys into coming fishing with me at Nemo Bay.
It's funny, that so many of us have gone down the tech rabbit hole, and or even the startup entrepreneurial space. And I kind of feel like the athlete to the entrepreneur are very, very similar. Being a professional athlete, you basically are an entrepreneur running your own business and, hedging your bets on yourself. And it's much the same as this entrepreneurial space and then going into the tech world, I think there's a lot of similarities to sport as well. So really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with there. And I did go check it out, actually, Simon, after we last spoke. Hamish, what are you working on? You said tech company. You didn't really give us much. HR.
It's a people and culture team within a tech company. What I really enjoy is taking those aspects of what it means to succeed in sport, like with your team around you, and just bringing those aspects into a business context. And so all the things so when I worked in the New Zealand high performance sports system, we did a lot of research into we called them, medal winning behaviors. So we studied like 30 or 40 campaigns that won medals. And then we also looked at a bunch of campaigns that didn't win medals. And the medal wasn't necessarily the delineal line, but we're looking at what was going on in the ones that were successful or produced the personal best, and what was going on the other side, the other ones that weren't successful. And, what it dawned on me was it was actually just about people trying to achieve really difficult stuff with limited resources. And that's what businesses are trying to do. So the way in which people work together and set goals and communicate and have routines kind of relates directly into what every business is trying to do. Because people turn up to work each day, they want to do a great job. They want to be recognized for their effort, and they want to succeed. And they've got to overcome a lot of adversity in a business context. So within, the business that I'm working for at the moment, the people and the culture and the HR component is what I'm lucky enough to lead at the moment. And that's awesome. I love it.
That's
it's really,
cool.
really interesting work.
It is amazing taking some of those sporting analogies and bringing them into the business world. I'm constantly having to refer everything back to triathlon. And it's like, and it helps as a reference, right? I find that even this new company I'm looking at working with, it's like, guys, I need to know the destination. I need to be clear on what the destination is, because I can't focus on the process and the day-to-day unless I'm very clear on where we're going. And you think about setting the goal of winning the Olympic Games or whatever it is, world titles or whatever you're trying to win, you put that out there, and doesn't mean you might not pivot at some point and have to change the destination, but without having a destination, it's very hard to get excited about the day-to-day process, right?
Oh, totally, yeah. And the other thing, I think, goals for people either enable their performance or they make it much harder. Mm-hmm. So I think how you set goals and how you manage them, they all it's all different for each person. So, and I think we've all had to grapple with that, right? Partly trying to win an Olympic gold medal is really hard and messy and ugly, and it's pretty brutal, but people just see you win. but there's all that crap in the background which you don't see, and so I think it's that part of it for me is the most fascinating. Yeah,
very cool.
And yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
I can't get over, Hamish, is that that answer you just gave with your gamer headset on and your HR. It's very serious, and yet you are literally one of the funniest people I know. Like, so you just gave this very straightforward answer, and in the back, for anyone who doesn't know Hamish, like, you truly are one of the funniest people I know, and to see you with your headset and your brother printer behind you is just killing me.
Oh, your brother printer. And hang on,
that's a product placement. I'm getting paid for that.
You need cartridges.
I love it.
Like you're such a funny dude, and so I understand what you're talking about there. You just said it so brilliantly, and also a bit of me's just like,
yeah,
it's like he's so funny.
Well, hang on, we have a chief performance officer on this call as well. Jan, mate, your new title. Fueling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fueling. I just had Scott Tyndall on the podcast only a few weeks back, and he was celebrating bringing you on. Mate, what's that been like?
It's been really cool. I mean, I've done a few tech startups, and none of them have actually come off all that well. I mean, kind of most of us had some sort of contact along the line of Super Sapiens, which sort of failed spectacularly. But fueling during my career has been like one of my big passionate topics. I believe there was so much. And I remember like in the early 2000s when I met the first pro cyclists, and they came out and they'd do like a 5-hour ride and they'd drink half their 500 milliliter bottle, because drinking used to be considered a weakness, and eating,
Eating's cheating.
And yeah, pretty much. And now it's just turned out to be this gel hot dog eating competition during an Ironman. I mean, you're trying to, if you're fueling a long ride properly, it sets you back $50. And that's how much you're eating. I mean, it's crazy, and kind of diving through that jungle has been something that's always interested me, something that I've always really enjoyed, and I think is something that I get asked about the most as well. Like if you go around, it's a lot of doubt. It's such an individual topic. It riles everyone up. Are you vegetarian? Are you vegan? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? And it's like, it really doesn't matter. Just fuel correctly, whichever way you choose to. You just need enough nutrients, and deciphering that, I think, for as many people as possible is something that I see adding lots of value to the sport and to the community, because it just provides a better experience if you don't hunger bonk 21K into your marathon. And that's where I see it being of great value and something I truly enjoy working on.
Awesome, buddy. Yeah, I'm excited for you. I love the fact that you've, it's one thing to retire. It's another thing to you got to keep moving, and everybody here has kept moving. There is somebody missing. Now, last time we did this, like I said, 3 years ago, right before Tokyo Olympics, the guy that ended up winning the Tokyo Olympics said in his post-race press conference interview on BBC, I listened to the Olympic champions of the past and I wanted to have a seat on that show in the future. Well, we did invite him. Everybody should know. But Jan mentioned that he is in Italy. They're about to race. But Christian Blumenfeld is being missed. He's going for a repeat. Alistair, mate, the only one here that's repeated. What advice have you got for Christian Blumenfeld as he's getting ready for Paris?
I think good luck.
Luck's got nothing to do with it.
No, luck's got everything to do with it. You can control everything else, but you can't control luck, chance. I actually think that's a really important point. Like, jokes aside, understanding, having a ability to, it's called probabilistic decision make, and understand the role that probability plays in it, and be able to, work with that to your advantage. I think all the cliches of like winning things multiple times are probably not true for any particular reason. In just that, it does get harder. You get older, the competition gets tougher. The course might be different. The conditions might be different. all those things. So yeah, I think it is only good luck. I think all of us here, I've got no doubt he'll be prepared as well as possible. And that's ultimately all he can do. And all he needs now is a bit of luck, I guess.
Reflecting back, you guys, I mean, we can pay out on Christian because he's not here, or he'll probably listen to the show later, but let's skip forward. If I get you guys to reflect back on, let's start, and we did recap this a little bit last time, but I just want to sort of get, for people, new listeners, reflecting back to your final journey into winning your Olympic golds, what were some of the emotions that you were having to manage or that you had going into the Olympics in your own experience? All of you had very different experiences. All of you were at different points of your career. Some of you were kind of at the tail end. Hamish, you were a bit older. Simon, you were kind of starting out. Jan, to some degree, you'd been racing a while, but you hadn't had any major wins. So I'd love to just get where your heads were at leading into the Olympic Games, the month out, the week out, the day before. Just, you can, just do it briefly. You don't have to go in too depth, but I'm very curious to get that. How about we start with you, Hamish?
Okay. I think because I was at the end of my career, I had come to accept the level of doubt and fear and uncertainty of not knowing what was going to happen. I'd learnt to let go of the actual result that I wanted, because I couldn't operate at a high level while I held that. So I almost had to let it go to be able to perform at the level I needed to. And I think that took a really long time for me to learn that and be able to apply it under pressure. Because I learnt the hard way in Sydney that I couldn't hold it too tight. I really had to let go. And so the theme of the race was all about trust. And, just there was let the race unfold as it would. So
well said. No, it's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Wow.
It makes me think why I didn't win. Why you beat me. Damn it, I was holding on too tight. Not that this show's all about Greg, by the way. I'm just Oh, shut up, Jan. You're next. What do you got for us, buddy?